Well, I am up early. It is before 7 a.m. It is Memorial Weekend, and this is one of the two big flea markets they have at Luke's Town and Country Flea Market in Greenville, Kentucky every year. I am looking for stuff to take to the Portland Rose City Vintage Market for my July show. We're going to see, since people are just getting this stuff out, if we find something really cool early. And people really are just getting this stuff out. In fact, you can see a lot of people haven't gotten their stuff out yet because they did have rain. A snail, a riding snail, that's something different. These little kitty suitcases from the 70s are kind of cute. Looks like it's intact in there. Not entirely. Ah, yes, glass clowns. Occasionally you'll find a buyer, but not too often. We do have some pretty lace figurines here, but again, people held the lace and it broke. It's unfortunate. These look like they're 1950s, made in USA, actually. Heirlooms of Tomorrow. These were made in Manhattan Beach. Heirlooms of Tomorrow was a very small company doing stuff in the Dresden style back in the 50s. Rock City. Yeah, I'm going to put that under the tent. It will get ruined.
Get rid of the boxes.
Let's see here. We've got some horses. Do we have Briars or Harlans? The Briar name is usually up under the leg, and there we see it right there. But it's scraped. They really have to be in perfectly clean condition. A lot of them got thrown in toy boxes and kind of messed up. This one is Westmoreland. I've always liked this little trophy cup. My mother had it in the satin blue. Pretty honey color. A very wet, very 70s basket purse. Old auto repair manuals can be a good thing. Shows you how to do your Studebaker Flight-O-Matic. I had a 63 Studebaker. It was a wonderful car. A Wagoneer with the roof that opened to 3 different positions. Pigs are sheep and cats are dogs and thoughts are made of Lincoln logs. That's a silly song I liked when I was in college. Old ringer here. It does work. That's important. These definitely do sell at some price. But this one doesn't have a lot of great graphics or anything. A couple of yokes that are pretty desiccated. This fish is really something. Ceramic piece, but I don't think it's really that old. A lot of stuff is not out yet. You can tell they had a wet morning. Jar of buttons, lots of these guys with the zinc lids. $12 on the Corel. These are Northwood, and they're the older ones with the N with the line underneath in the middle, but just a very simple ray pattern. Ooh, I like the Noel. That would be something to get. I just sold mine. These are Lipper and Man. And then another set here. These are Artmark, 1960s Japan. The L has been broken. Here's a 70s screen print that is a little different. 1776 Heritage Collector Series from Coca-Cola for the bicentennial. I thought that was a treasure craft piece. I think it's missing some jewels in turquoise it's supposed to have. But that is the wedding base. That was the beginning of their Southwest lines in the late 70s. So they wanted a fortune for the Noel, but this gold Murano bowl is $5. I'll take that. $12 each for a lot of these 1890s tin roof architectural pieces. If you could find enough of them that were useful, you could do something cool with it. And lots of legs for repurposing. That looks like they're spindles from a porch, actually. $6 and $12 on these. The $12 one's in worse shape than the $6 one. I don't quite go. It doesn't have a bottom. Okay. Levi McClark. $48. That's kind of got a cool look. I don't really need it. Enamelware. Well, the coffee pot's cute. White is a pretty basic color, though. This is a good color, but the pan's a pretty basic piece. They certainly have them priced right. A lot of $5 and $6. Here's a hay trolley that's priced at $100. I still have yet to own one of those. $48 on the fan. I have to say, so far, I am not seeing any great cheap prices on anything. $90 on Stroh's beer. This is getting ruined. Okay, these have fantastic shades that don't seem like they got wet. They even have a label, Bradley lamp. I'm not sure who did the ceramics for Bradley lamp, and I'm assuming they want 25 a piece, but those shades are fabulous. Could I get 100 with the shades? I'm not sure, but I sure like them. Now, Zeno likes these lamps, but they don't have any shades. Nice chenille blanket, $20 for the plain yellow, but what about this one with pretty flowers and some spotting? $30. If it didn't have the spots, I might be tempted. Great Men and Famous Women. This is a pretty good compendium from about 1900. Columbus Before Isabella. It's a great old series. I hate to see it out here in the water. It is priced at $48, and it looks like it has number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it looks like it's all there. Very nice condition on the Coke cooler, $2.75. Old candle mold, $25. Is this jumbo peanut butter? Old Judge coffee. Ah, with the owl. Okay. Kentucky Nectar. That's a great looking bottle. $6 each. Lots of Crocs. Lots of tins. I don't see anything real scarce. $10 on coffee. Big hay hook, $12 each for all 4 of those. I'm not sure what you do with them. They've got a whole bunch of them out of the barn, it looks like. Some old Coke trays. This is the one we see the most, priced at $25. She is scarcer, from about 1941, I believe, priced at $100. Eye wash cups are $5, bunch of license plates. More architectural pieces, only $2 each. That's pretty great. Bunch of folding chairs for $10 each. That's a good price. Got a couple already though, and oh yeah, they've got the old hub spokes and crates. They've got a lot of barn stuff. They do get a lot of barn stuff. They get a lot of stuff, period. Some good galvanized. I have to say, this is one of the spaces I really look forward to seeing every Memorial Day and Labor Day if I'm in the area. That's a McCoy, $12. Not a terrible price on that. A little stained inside. That would probably come out. $20 for the Purple Cow set. I don't see any great little perfume bottles, although $2 each is a good price. I think those are newer than they look. Aw, these were cute, but a little chipped up. Czechoslovakian double vase. That's cute. Oh no, Japan. Interesting. Done on the style of the Czechs. This would be really cute again. No hook and just a little chipped up. Let's see what we have here. Old Heidelberg, kind of a usual suspect. Only $5 though. That's a good price for a beer-related item. Olympia, that would sell out west, but it's gotten stained this morning in the water. That's too bad. $1 each for Norman Rockwell plates. $1 each for Royal Dalton plates. There's just too many of those, and Avon bottles. Good quality, all well made. They've got some older Kentucky Derby that are harder to find. That's why you're seeing prices as high as $50, but a whole lot of them are only $5 and $7. Let's see what we have in here. A bunch of these Star X's new in the box. I think I'll look at those and see if any of them are particular companies. I like the little alligator and celluloid for $6. That might have to go with me. A little too high for me on the Halloween. Very pretty surround, but that's kind of damaged with the woman. My mom always said she was a tomboy. This would have been made about the time she was a little girl. It's great. Tom Joyce Company, Indianapolis. Never heard of that one. 7:19 a.m. and I've already broken the ice. I paid $20 for the Bradley lamp, mainly because it had a really great shade. I only didn't take the second one because it had a little bit of staining in the shade again. Unfortunately, they got wet this morning. It also had one little chip on the glaze, and so I took the one with the good shade and the good base, and I think someone will enjoy it as a single. I'm going to go out to the edges because no one has hit them yet. I'm getting here this early. I have the chance to see things before everyone else does. There is a really handsome, really clean steamer trunk in there. Great colors, great design. I think they have 75 on it. I am seriously tempted by that because it is so good looking from the outside. And then they've got $125 on the floor model oak phonograph, which seems really cheap too. You can tell that the grill has been replaced. The fabric is not original. She said I could get up in here and look at it. I just really like the design. Burr Cartage Company, $75. Well, let's see what it looks like and what it smells like. Whether I could pack it full of stuff to take with me, because it is going to take a bunch of room. But it is flat on the sides, so that's a good sign. I just like the rivets, the colors, the red really adds to it. Okay, so a little bit of wear here. Doesn't look like the keys exist anywhere anymore. Does have a divided drawer. I mean, I could certainly get plenty in here to carry with me. So it's not like it's actually going to take more room in the car, believe it or not. A little bit of grass in there for good measure.
You guys got the whole antique shop.
Well, I did it. The steamer trunk is mine. I think it's awesome. I wish it had a key, but I love it. I have to remember to come back and get it. I'm not dragging it with me. Well, that was our fun spot to start with. Nice old powder flask here.
Yeah, it's a real deal then.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a real one, not one of the 20th century. It's absolutely the right one. A tube tester. Yeah, we sold a lot of these at that estate sale in Portland. I should have kept one. Definitely helpful for people doing old radios and TVs. And there is one lone person way off here. He's got great signs. I don't expect signs to be cheap anymore, but he's got a Studebaker sign, and I'm curious. This is the stuff we just don't see anymore. I like that one. Looks like late 40s. Standard service. A lot of these are late 40s, early 50s. Coke, the sign of good taste. You know this one's real. Unfortunately, it's rusted through a little bit. Priced at $3.50 for the button. You see these funny lines on these. A lot of these were never distributed because a lot of these went out during the Depression and they had wax paper between them, which affected it after they sat in piles for years. Wiedemann beer, that's cool. I just sold my Blatz finally. Good design there. Tonka Army, that's in good shape. And the Rescue Squad for the Civil Defense, that's really in good shape. Early 60s Fords. Buddy L Stables, there's some cool stuff in here. Little glass box. Looks like Mexican onyx horse bookends. That was my little trick of go to the toy table and buy the 2 pieces of glass for $5 each. That was a pretty good price. I like the oil filler bottle here. It's kind of your typical one though.
Well, we got later. Okay, but right now we're trying to get everything set up. No, don't start.
See what they've added since I was here before. Jim Beam bottle with a computer. There is the dancer in the bottom of that bottle. If it's wound up, she might just dance for us. Let's see. Well, it's just a silly thing, but when you have a dancing Scotswoman and she plays music in bottle form and it's $5, I'm going to say sure. There's some folks still just coming in to set up. These folks can't really put their stuff out because a lot of this is paper boxes that can't go on the ground, so we're just going to have to dig a little bit.
Feel free to dig.
Thank you, it sure will. Yeah, there's a fridge dish. I'll bet that's cheap. It's got a chip. Cheap and chipped. Oh, I like the very little laundry basket down there. This guy always has good stuff. I usually only can buy a thing or two, depending on his pricing, but I've had some luck with him before, so we'll take a look. Stagecoach. Bookends. I like the big bell, but it doesn't have the harp to hold it. And that's a problem, because how do you use them then? Oh, Mr. Fox the Magician with the magical disappearing rabbit. And this is pretty cool. Japanese battery operated from the 50s. Made in Japan mark there. Not in good shape, but he's great. This is embossed. Slow children at play. Poor slow children. He's got that great old Camel cigarette display that I just love in there. I don't think that's going to be cheap. I think he's had that a while. And well, I like that Camel cigarette ad display, but I honestly couldn't pay more than about $135 for it. So we're just a little bit off on price. We'll see how things go. If it stays slow, I might go back and offer them the 135. Sometimes you have to gauge if they're having trouble because of weather and they're not getting the crowd they usually would. Well, then you might get a better deal. Okay, let's see. We've got an Agfa camera for $5 that seems to work. Some old baseball cards, a lighter. We're just going to put a pile together here. There's some racetrack from the Allstate by Lionel set. That was sold through Sears. That's why the Allstate name. They even had a car called an Allstate. The Bachelor, neat old cigar
And I will
box.
take whatever I can get out of that.
It's awfully cute. I don't know what I'd do with it, but it is really sweet.
Here you go, sweetheart. Thank
All right,
you so much.
thank you. Thank you, sir. No problem, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, because we're not planning on taking anything home.
I don't blame you.
Too much trouble.
Yep, I'll have to go to the car.
Thanks.
Thank
You're welcome. Y'all have a good day.
All right, you too.
Do what, Pup?
I'd like to know how old that thing is.
I don't know, but she told me, she said, just get what you can get out of it.
This is old Sheffield. Sheffield is a nice way of saying silver plate now. These were done probably around 1910. Original Sheffield plate is actual silver and fat rolls around a base metal. Morel's Pride airplane in Iowa.
And there's some more on the other.
Good thing that Reich didn't last.
And everything in here, sweetie, is $1.
Everything's $1. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, you got it.
All right, honey.
I like these Plymouths.
Oh, yeah.
The great new Chrysler.
She said she taped it, but I don't think she taped it.
Boy, they were huge. Oh yes, the Duster. That was a hot car for a mom car back then. The Imperial Crown Coupe. A friend of mine has one of those. It's a beautiful car. Home of Shirley Temple.
Yeah, everybody said it was.
She did all right. Loretta Young's house. UK football signatures. Go Cats. Wildcats.
I had one, but I
Better known for basketball, though. King Louis bowling shirts. That would have been cool if it was in good shape. Here's a bunch of cute cups and saucers.
If it was a certificate with it,
$39, 8 cups and 8 saucers. Those are Haviland Limoges. I think they mean these scenic ones are the set.
I'll stand here. We're going to go to
yeah.
See what these folks are setting out. An old coal shuttle and some galvanized. Hey, how are you? These are cute Corningware. I always like that little brown flower. And this is a good piece here. You don't see that too much. Only thing is we keep having to go back because new stuff keeps coming out. So, ooh, croquet sets. And I don't see one that's complete though. All right, let's see what we have on the back of this truck. A lot of the things that came out first are things that are going to be impervious to wet. Okay, well, we have one of these 50s era pipes with the chieftain on one side and a decal that's falling off on the other, unfortunately. Water is really tough on this stuff. The Italian immigrants. Well, I like the stuff on the table behind me, but so far all of their prices have been retail, and I'm at a flea market. At this point, that seems like a great idea. Well, 8 o'clock, the sun is out and the people are coming, so now they're really trying to get things out in earnest. Now we're going to go up a new row. Railroad lanterns. One's had a pretty hard life. This one's a little cleaner. It is from the K&I. That's an obscure enough railroad that I don't know it. It's just from the name. Adlai Keppo. So it's got the original globe. It's missing the guts though. Robertson did these before TCA did them. The one I just sold was a TCA that had Celsius as well. This one's the original that's a little older. International Harvester would put out the Cadet, and the Louisville plant gave these out as awards. How much are the Harvester awards?
40 each. I'll take 100 for the 3.
Okay, thank you. And a very funny alligator clip made by somebody in 1996. My grandmother had that. Lobby cards, these are fun. Boss of Bullion City. There's also a Marine Band harmonica in the middle of there. $15 for the big tremolo model here. Boy, there is a 50s scene. All the kids at whoever in the neighborhood already had a TV watching it on that tiny little screen in black and white. And of course they're watching Westerns because it's the 50s. Well, they always have a lot of fun stuff. I like the old 1990s Roy Roger guitar, but the earlier ones are even more fun. They always have a lot of fun cap guns, and I see some good movie posters over there in the $35 range. Gosh, I haven't seen these little trick skis in a long time. Very cool. I always like these old minnow buckets. Milwaukee 5, Wisconsin, before zip code, so before 1964. This is something different. A woodman's pal, a very specific brush cutter. We're able to slice and do a bunch of different stuff. I'm curious about this. I don't know this piece. The woodman's pal. Well, I love finding out about new things, and the Woodsman's Pal is a certain type of survival machete, and it has the sheath, which matters, and these seem to sell for around $100, and he asked $30 because he hadn't seen it before either, and I guess he didn't do his research, or he got it cheap enough, he didn't care, and I'm happy to have it because it's something different. And will I take this to Portland to a modernist show? Why, yes, I will, because this has to do with the lumber industry, and that's big business up there. Got some good cast iron here. I like the Wagnerware with the triangular mark. Sydney O. Griswold with the larger marks. I like the cornbread pan. This is an interesting shape here. $60 on that, and that is going to be to make bread buns. Even these more recent thermometers are starting to go for a lot now. We were quoted $40 for these in the other place. I wonder what they'll be asking here. I think I will ask just for fun. There's also a couple of cute still banks, but they want $100 for the elephant, which is a lofty price. So we'll do this as a test. His price is $25 on the Cadet. $40 for both. Okay, thank you. Oh, and look at this, the rabbit mold. You see the lamb the most, but here's the Griswold mark on it. That's a nice piece. They've got $225 on it, and it's probably the right price. There's a pretty deluxe way to get dragged around. He's got some good signs too. They're priced accordingly, of course. Character glasses, they've got 12 on those. Okay. Well, somebody just asked me my opinion of these, so I guess I'll tell all of you folks. This particular pattern with these little feathery scrolls came in green, came in clear, came in red, was very common in the 1950s. And so you will see a lot of those around. It's a nice pattern. They're perfectly great. They're just not unusual or scarce. Lots of tops. I'd be looking for ones with characters in good shape if there were some. Or that are older. That one's got a good graphic. Barbie's little sister. That was to get younger girls to play with Barbies. $15. $6 on the sewing machine. Oh, that's an old one for Kentucky. This used to be the biggest junk pile you ever saw. Now it is very organized. So let's see what they have in here now that it's very organized. $1 each. Now these are really common. If the tops were in good shape, though, I'd get them because they're that interesting pinky aluminum color. The classic maple leaves. The one you want is the jadeite one. Cheap on the silhouettes, but they've got wrinkles. Whew, that's seen better days. Speed tufting, because you want to do that as fast as possible. Late Wagnerware when it was part of General Housewares Corporation and had the GHC mark. Interesting mask. This doesn't seem like something that matches anything else here. Ceramic, I think. Cool old Boy Scouts banner. You were involved with the church, and this is going to be about, probably the 50s looking at that logo. These make great party coolers. That's what most people are buying them for. You can put ice in them and they'll actually drain because they were originally wash tubs. Be even better if they had the lids. And this typewriter stand is good because it's the green color with the light. Orange Crush and Rock Springs are a little more unusual than the Pepsi. Really cool. This is a Big Bucks Junior 4 stove. This is real. This is from about 1910. It'll be the miniature of a large stove. This one looks like you could actually hook it up and make it work. It would have had a base originally, but it is cool, even just the way it is. Fairly famous carling sign by Lawson Wood. He was known mainly for the monkeys that saw no evil in the Second World War. This is what the police were doing in the 1880s outside of the Carling Brewery. Hope you didn't need help. This is one of these Conshohocken, Ohio companies. There's still signs being made in Conshohocken, new reproduction signs, in fact. If you lived in Pennsylvania, California, or a number of other states back in the 50s and 60s, and probably even before, you had to have your car inspected every year. Make sure the lights were good, make sure it was running all right, make sure eventually that emissions weren't a problem. So these signs were everywhere at one time because you had to go to an official inspection station and then go to an official repair garage. I'm sure the repair garages loved that. I like the Defiance tire sign, and the new grape soda looks like an old one. I just sold my Sears road racing kit for $150. This is the Strombecker. Exciting for adults from 8 to 80. You can tell this is early 60s from the cars. On top is a little later, of course. Well, I am sure having fun exploring this place and exploring the world of antiques and vintage with you. And if you're having fun, then please do subscribe if you haven't already, because it really does help the channel. And that way you can click the bell to be notified of future videos, and you can hang out with all of us in this great antique and vintage community. Also, if you're able to support the channel through a membership, we always appreciate that because it allows us to bring extra content, bonus videos, and early access. So look for the membership link in the listings under the dash line in the description of any video. How much is this pretty neck bracelet and earrings?
Which one?
The blue.
I'll let that go for $10. Of course, it's just costume too.
Yeah, it's just costume, but I like it. I'll take it for 10.
Okay.
Wow, look at this. Tusco, the biggest beast that walks the earth. 1929 season. I'd walk a mile for a camel. Well, how far would you go for Tusco? Well, it's 9 o'clock when I usually get here and when a lot of people are just getting out. And now everything is starting to be out and set up. I think I'm glad I got here early. Nice console radios here. Let's see what they've got inside. Well, the plastic top isn't as interesting, but I like the display. We'll see what they have on that. I could use it as a display in the meantime. Various cap guns. Some Boy Scout stuff. This is cool. Caloric gas ranges. This would have sat in a hardware store somewhere, or an appliance store somewhere. A little damage though. There is an old crock. M. Salzman, purity above all. A little damaged, but it's a neat one. Stewart's fresh sandwiches, peanuts, and candy. That's a little more interesting because it's an off-brand, but it's a little faded. Not sure if we could bring that back. We'll see what they have as a price. Cool box, man. Obviously works. Wizards 3-speed hammock fan. I always like these. This guy gets some great stuff. I always like these clocks, especially the bubble there. Early 60s Coca-Cola. Pac-Man scoreboard. That one's had a hard life. Big green Jardiniere. These are Japanese trying to look like Spode China. Oh no, they're Meekin trying to look like Spode China. Okay. Well, I knew they weren't Spode, but they're trying to be. That would be funny over a bar. This fellow really does have cool stuff. He's got a lot of good advertising stuff. Unfortunately for me, he knows what he's got, but he does have it. And he does sell some things. I notice different stuff when I come in here, so I think he sells closer to retail than I can pay. But he finds some people for it because he gets some unusual stuff. This is an interesting thing. It's $6.95. It is an old turn-of-the-century multi-use baby swing rocking chair, high chair. You can see the copy of the old advertisement that went with it here. Satisfaction for Mother, endorsed by physicians. This is Glasscock Brothers Manufacturing out of Muncie, Indiana, and it is an 1897 patent date, but you could turn it into a rocker, a high chair, a bouncy chair. So we will date this by the lucky cicada that just flew in. We have a whole lot of these out here right now. Every 17 years we get to meet them, and then they go away for 17 years. Whitehall Pottery Works, $175. Ooh, look at this in the original box. I have to admit I like the glasses better than the box. But the box is definitely that early 70s Art Nouveau effect. But he wants $30 for the set in the box, and to me that's a little too close to what I get for it. Well, I'm saving my favorite shed for last just because I know everyone makes a beeline to him, so I get what's left. We're going to go to the yard sale first. Ooh, lots of blue Indiana Carnival, yes. And some Tupperware. think the contents of that shed are being emptied out here today. The gold coin glasses don't seem to sell as quickly as the other gold encrusted glasses from the 60s, but I do like the martini shaker. This place was just rarely opened, is open today. This looks filthy, and unfortunately in the weather it started peeling. That part's too bad. I might be able to fix it, but it would have to be really cheap. It's a good size though. What I like about the size is that you could get a nice display and not take up a ton of room. Alf. And the Smurfs. The Smurfs is metal. $10 import from China. Well, I see a bunch of Green Depression glass at this table, so I know they've got some old stuff. And they've got bins of things we can paw through.
Oh, you want to carry him? Here you
Got your Harley Davidson belt buckle in here.
I like the candle holders.
That's all uranium stuff there, sir.
Oh yeah. Well, they got the message about the uranium, but ooh, the prices.
But I guess this one
Pirate
I
Bank.
think is one of the coolest pieces.
Oh yeah, that is fun, the sextant, yes. Yeah, but I think this is the one that makes the most sense for me. Ah, these are now controversial, I guess. Back in RFK Stadium, you would have actually needed these. Leather decanter is $22 from Spain from about 1970. Ooh, my dad paid about that much for his Toyota Corona, and it didn't happen well. Well, you could hitch your horse up to this and take a ride, or hook it to this and plow your field. I like the yellow wall phone. It's a little banged up, though. Be a job to replace all the bottles on this, but that's cool. And a great red radio. Well, it's 9:30, and the thing about getting up early is I've seen the whole thing. So it took me about 2.5 hours, and I bought a bunch of cool stuff. Let's do a quick haul review because we did pretty well at the flea market today. I don't have paper towels or Windex, so everything is still completely farm fresh and a little filthy. But I thought this was cool. It's from the late 60s, early 70s. It was part of a store display, part of a rack that held candles. But I just thought that this might be a sweet thing for somebody in their dining room to say, let's dine tonight by candlelight and make little get-togethers into big occasions. Great sentiment. The piece here, obviously I need to clean the glass, but it will clean. And this, with a very small amount of glue, will be able to be put back down. Notice that this is just a printed paper that they did on these back in the 60s. So it wasn't anything that was very high-end to begin with. We can easily glue that back into place. That cost $1. It had been in the back of a storage shed for a really long time, and you can tell by the filth. These were from the 1930s. This is the Republican and Democrat. You got to choose which one you wanted because you got these free with Listerine shaving cream. And then you sent in for whichever one you wanted. These people obviously were of a split mind. Those were $3 each. So were these toothbrush holders from the 30s. I could not believe how cheap the stuff at this one booth was. I wish I had gotten there in time to see the anthropomorphic caddies and holders go. I watched those go with another dealer, but I was thrilled to get these for only $3 a piece, including this old lady on the swan. And this very cute bank, also $3, was Rio Hondo. The face mask here, he was only $5. He's a great look. When I see these embedded hooks, I figure this isn't super old, and it has that black felt. It's probably about 30 years old, but it's a good look. And it was $5. The agate horse bookends from Mexico from the 70s were $7. I usually get about 20 to 25, so I was happy with that. Only $5 for the dancing Scotswoman in the bottle. Only $10 for this striped Pyrex. Now, these folks had a bunch of other Pyrex patterns they wanted a fortune for, but they didn't think much of the stripes, and I certainly did because I've sold every piece with stripes I've ever had. This was another $3 special. Kissing She Don't Last But Good Cooking, Mamma Mia. He looks happy, and it's a sand timer. The hurrier I go, the behinder I get, and you can see how behinder you've gotten by flipping that. This is Japanese from the 50s or 60s. I just thought that was very cute. Sand timers always sell, and especially when they're novelty. This little guy, also a sand timer. In his case, you just turn it upside down, and when he's drank his bottle of milk, then you know that your time has run out. That's also from the 30s. This is from about the 19 teens or early 20s, Bavaria. It's a violet transferware, but this is a true hat pin holder because there's no hole in the bottom. So this was not for powdered sugar, and it's got the big hole in the middle. I always buy a true hat pin holder because the hat pin holder collectors know the difference between that and a muffineer, and they want these. Only $15 for the tremolo owner harmonica. That's probably a $40 to $60 piece. Seems to be the range they trade in. Another blade bank. I've sold this one before that looks like the barber pole. Again, I only paid $3. I think I got 20 or 24 the last time I sold one. The Esso guy I paid 10 for, but he sells for about $30. He's also a bank from about 1960. This nice hobnail opalescent cigarette box, which would be used as a dresser box now, $3. The prices were really great today. $5 for the Agfa camera from Germany, all in working order with the rangefinder. Only $10 for this very nice 1950s or 60s bracelet. It's got a safety catch. It doesn't have a signature, but it looks like it was made by a decent company because it's a little better quality than a lot, and it had the earrings. Great price for $10. I also got a heart-shaped locket, but I put that in another case and can't put my hands on it right now. I bought one cigarette lighter because it's advertising the Frisco Line Railroad, and it has all the places that it went on the back. It went all the way from St. Louis and Memphis, down to Mobile, over to Fort Smith, Arkansas, and a bunch of places in between, all the way to Wichita, Kansas. A couple other fun modernist pieces. The Bradley lamp from the 50s just had the greatest shade, and I paid 20 for that. I believe that's a $45 or $50 piece because the shade is terrific. And then this piece, I paid 17, but I get 35 for the Viking glass that are molded, and this one's hand blown. I think this one actually might be by Rainbow, looking at the color. It's either Rainbow or possibly Blanco, believe it or not, but the crackle not going all to the edge makes me think more likely to be Rainbow or one of the smaller West Virginia houses. In any event, I think that should easily be worth 35 to 40 in this market. We'll take this out where you can see in the sun. This is the Woodman's Pal. And this was a certain type of machete to help you. It's basically a survival instrument. It has the metal sheath. Originally they were in leather, later they came in metal. This should date to sometime probably around the 1950s. I paid 30. The close sales I saw were closer to 95 and 100. So I feel like that was a good thing to get. And then my favorite piece of all, this wonderful patterned, attractive, good condition steamer trunk with all the drawers and all of the hangers inside, so I'll be able to use that as a nice display at my show in Portland, Oregon in July. I'm very happy. I think some of the prices I paid are great. I think I got a few interesting things, and this flea market is always fun. So thank you all for coming out and bringing us this cool stuff this Memorial weekend. If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.